Yo, yo, yo. What up, peoples? What's going on? Happy Thursday, man. I hope everybody had a good day yesterday with our day off, man. I didn't get to see everybody. Hope everybody had a good day. We're going to start Remnant 2 today. I've been researching it. Overall, it looks like people are enjoying the game quite a bit. So I want to dive into it. So we're going to play Remnant 2 all flipping weekend. Now, what I will say is it does seem like there might be a few issues performance-wise with the game. It's mainly like just FPS stuff. But apparently if you have DLSS turned on, which is if you have an NVIDIA card, you can turn DLSS on and you won't have any issues running the game. And that's the gist of what I've seen. So I was like, you know what? We're going to dive in here. We're going to play it. And we're going to see how it feels. Most people, it seems like, haven't had significant issues with the game. I think that it doesn't feel good that it's having any issues at all. But overall, compared to a lot of the other games we've seen come out, that's fairly minimal compared to some of the other things we've seen over about the past year for a lot of these terrible games that come out performance-wise. So overall, it seems like people are having a pretty good time with it. Content-wise, especially, it seems to be quite a bit of fun. And most people are really not having too many performance issues with it or anything like that. It probably just needs a little bit of polishing for after patching from the dev, and hopefully they'll be able to take care of it pretty quick, and hopefully we won't have to deal with too much on that side of things. But we'll get in there today. We'll give it a shot. We'll check it out. Again, I hope everybody had a great day yesterday. Let's get in here and let's check out this video gaming news segment for today, July 27th, and then we'll go play some games, baby. Cool? You guys ready? Let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and kill this music, and we will get in here. Let's go. What we got? Let's get that death counter off, too. That's for our other playthrough we're doing. PS Plus August games announced. We'll take a look at that. You know what? We need to change our range here as well. From there to there, go. Cool. Yeah, we've talked about Saudi Arabia a lot. I mean, look, TLDR, there, Saudi Arabia is the investment fund. What is it called? Man, it's legit the country themselves, not just like businesses out of this country, but the country themselves, headed up by the Crown Prince, that are investing heavily into gaming. They outright own SNK. They've heavily invested. They own like 10% of Nintendo at this point. And it shouldn't be lost on anybody that Saudi Arabia is a country that has some significant issues with persecution, discrimination, and a lot of issues when it comes to social justice and people's rights and things of that nature, just based on demographics, basically discrimination, prejudice, bias, things like that. And I think that what people have to be worried about here is that a country like this buying so heavily into video games means that they're probably going to put those same kinds of ideals into their gaming development as well. And we have to be very, very careful about letting those kinds of sentiments and negative stereotyping, bad portrayals of certain people just based on, who people are inherently, become part of what they allow to be part of their media and their entertainment. Because really that it's just like it'll turn into like a propaganda machine, and it's very very it's a very sketchy area for us to allow countries to anybody of power, countries, businesses, it doesn't matter. The thing that I would prompt people to really take a look at is that people are just people. It doesn't matter what color you are, sexual preference, gender, anything like that. We're all just people. We're all just trying to live our best lives, and any group of power that tries to um, go against that notion and try and get us to think in a manner that makes us try to believe that one group of people is less than another group of people based on something ridiculous like skin color, race, um, religious preference, and again, like or spiritual beliefs or sexual gender identity or preference or anything like that is absolutely asinine, and it is unacceptable, and we have to be very very careful about letting the powers at be, these big wealthy businesses and countries, get into the world of gaming which we love and then try to spin that narrative into us and into especially like youth and stuff, very very um, you know, individuals that can be groomed into that way of thinking very easily because they're easily manipulated, and we have to be careful about that. That's what I have to say about that. I have a decent monitor cell here. Immortals Phoenix Rising sequels known as Codename what? Oxygen gets canceled. Oh wow. Okay. We already talked about that a little bit. A lot of people liked that game. Yeah, this is weird. I don't think this is gonna fly really. ESRB wants to verify your age with a facial scan. There's gonna be a lot of people that aren't comfortable with this, especially when it comes to having their children be exposed to this kind of technology. Just because of the potential negatives that will come along with it. Anytime there's technology, the evolution of technology has always presented both pros and cons, people that will use it for both good and bad. And this is no different, especially when it comes to children, because that's literally what this is about. They want to use facial recognition, facial scanning to determine whether somebody is of the appropriate age or not to be playing certain titles. A lot of that has to do with, are you a child or are you an adult? That's what a lot of this is. And we know all too well that when it comes to children, there have been plenty of examples in the past of companies that were not supposed to retain information about children, but they've done it. And, this ESRB stuff will be like, well, we're not going to take pictures, we're just going to scan. I don't believe that. There are inherently people behind this technology. There are always terrible people out. I'm sure there are some people behind this that just want it to do good, that just want to make sure there aren't going to be children that access titles that aren't supposed to be accessing titles they're not supposed to be viewing. There are also going to be people behind this technology that use it for bad. And there are all kinds of ways in which I can see this going awry. So I don't know. This is a pretty sketchy thing as far as I'm concerned. We've seen reviews of the Asus ROG Ally. It seems like a really good handheld. It really does. You're going to pay quite a bit over what you would pay for a Steam Deck, but it's built well. It's consumer friendly. It's repair friendly. Um, it's very powerful. It's a great PC gaming handheld device. And if you've got the money to spend on a device like that, it's definitely worth looking into. You know, I think we'll see a Steam Deck, like the next evolution of the Steam Deck. I think we'll see sooner rather than later. But I mean, who knows what that's going to entail? Performance wise, hardware wise, they're probably going to try to keep that price point at a $500 mid-range level and do kind of what they do now. They've got a model that's right below that. They've got a model that's above that. I'm guessing Steam Deck will do that too. It's not like they couldn't make it more expensive, just like the Asus ROG Ally, but they want to make this an affordable gaming option for people. And I think that is a better play, to be honest. There's a reason. Let's be real here. There's a reason why so many people tend to. One of the big reasons, anyways. There are a number of reasons, but one of the big reasons why people tend to shy away from PC gaming in the first place is the initial entry point for PC gaming does usually tend to be a little bit higher, a bit pricier than it would be for getting what you get out of buying into a console. And what the Steam Deck, what Valve's done with the Steam Deck has given people that price point, that console-based price point for getting into a Switch-styled PC gaming device. It's a pretty good play. Whereas with the Asus ROG Ally, you're going to be paying $900 to $1,000 for a handheld PC gaming device, which is what does make people shy away from PC gaming quite often in the first place. So I think with the Steam Deck, they'll still come out with whatever their next iteration is. It will be an upgrade hardware-wise, but it might not be quite as over the top as something as like the Asus ROG Ally, just because they want to keep that price point mid-range. Ubisoft has cleared up the account deletion crisis. Let's take a look at this. So it went from, if you haven't been on your account for 4 years, it's gone, to, well, if you haven't been on your account for 4 years and that account didn't have any purchases on it, we'll get rid of that account. Now we'll see what they're saying. Go to our other search here. Not a whole lot of news over the past couple of days, huh? Oh, dude, here you go. Xbox will soon let players map keyboard keys to controller. Nice. Looks like Twisted Metal review right now is good. That's awesome. We looked at this the other day. We've been paying attention to this. Um, it looks funny. It looks good. It's on Peacock, I think is the streaming service that it's on. I really want to watch it. I loved Twisted Metal back in the day, and I'm really hoping this is good because I am hopeful that the show being well received will prompt an adaptation to bring the game back into the fold for us. It's been a long time since we had Twisted Metal, and it was a banger of a game, and I would love to see Twisted Metal come back. A new Shrek video game is coming. Look, dude, I'm let's talk about this. Gaming Bible, dude, they have gotten real clickbaity with their stuff, and I'm gonna be really careful about the articles that I bring up from Gaming Bible anymore. I talked about this over the past few gaming news segments. It's pretty gross actually how much they do this with. They make their titles seem one way, and really when you go into them and start reading them, it was just a bunch of clickbait. I am done buying into a lot of what they're trying to get us to read here. One second, guys. All right. Um, looks like CD Projekt Red is laying off 9% of their studio staff. I mean, as big of a. I mean, I rip on CDPR a lot because I find it kind of insane that they've been able to do as well as they've been able to do with such subpar releases. The performance of their games is really bad on release. It's hard for other developers to compare to what CDPR is in terms of story and narrative and the writing they have in their games and their character plot and just like they do a great job at that stuff. But man, to be fair, you can't experience that kind of content if the performance is bad. And so for me, CDPR is one of those companies that currently, right now, I will never play one of their games until I see something different come from them. In terms of how they release their games, performance wise, I will not play one of their games on release. There's no flipping way. It's kind of crazy to me. That they've been able to sustain such a fan base, and people go, well, they stood by their game and they made it better. It doesn't matter. The game shouldn't, like speaking specifically about Cyberpunk, it never should have released like that. Witcher 3 was a mess on release 2. It still is. It still has a lot of bugs. I just played the game last year in full, both DLCs. It crashed on me a number of times. Lots of wonky stuff in that game. Lots of glitches, bugs, things of that nature. And really, I mean, I think CDPR felt like they got away with what they got away with in Witcher 3 was a show of what they could get away with even more in Cyberpunk. And that's why they did what they did with it. And I'm just surprised at how many people just have stood by that company. It's weird. I don't really understand it. But here they are. They're laying off 9% of their studio. They are not the only studio that has done this. They're a little bit late to the party here, I would say. Most companies laid off a lot of individuals, a lot of their staff at the beginning of the year. So this kind of puts a spotlight on them because a lot of these companies did this at the same time to try and fly under the radar, if you will, because the bigger companies that did it caught a lot of the grief for it, criticism for it, whereas now CDPR is really kind of doesn't have anybody to take cover under, So we'll take a look at this. Star Atlas, after massive layoffs, nothing about our vision has changed. We'll take a look at that too. All right. EA says stay tuned for Skate console playtesting news. Not worth diving into that. That's what you need to know. Apparently, there's going to be some playtesting coming for Skate out of EA. There are other skateboarding games out there. I mean, if you can find other games to play and not support EA, I would say do that. It's not always easy, but, Yeah, so basically what this is about is Starfield has collaborated with AMD, and on certain AMD products, you can get a free copy of Starfield. At the same time, there are some of these AMD products that you can find on sale at a pretty decent discount. So if you're in the market for like especially CPUs or GPUs for a build or maybe even an upgrade for your current rig, then you could potentially get Starfield as just a bonus to those components. So take a look, shop around. You can potentially just get Starfield for free, okay? We've already got that up. All right. Here we go. Let's get into these articles. First and foremost, Ubisoft has cleared up the account deletion crisis. Then we'll get on to the next part of this Ubisoft stuff. If you've been within the social circles that surround the gaming community in recent days, you'll likely have seen a reference to Ubisoft's account deletion policy. It was a shred of news that spread like wildfire because people believed that Ubisoft was deleting accounts that surpassed 30 days of inactivity. Nah, I don't think that's what people thought. That wasn't ever the case, as we stated in our article that reported the news. However, there was a lot of confusion around the matter. It took a statement from Ubisoft to clear up the account deletion scandal that for a few days rocked the gaming world. So as reported by IGN, Ubisoft has officially cleared up what it does with old, outdated, and inactive accounts. Stressed that it won't delete accounts that have purchased games attached to them. Won't delete. That's the most important factor at play. It was also stated that it takes the following into account when attempting whether or not to issue a closure notice. What's the gaming activity of the account since its creation? How long has the account been inactive across Ubisoft's ecosystem? Is there an active subscription tied to the account? It was also stressed that Ubi hasn't ever deleted an account that was inactive for less than 4 years. Even then, the 30-day notice was issued, and the account owner was warned that the closure was imminent. So to sum up, Ubisoft will not delete your games. It will not close your account if you've got a subscription or purchase attached to it, and you will need to have not even sniffed that account for at least 4 years for it to be eligible for deletion. Case closed. Yeah. So again, I think that people jumped the gun here a bit for sure. That people also have to understand that, like, from a business standpoint, all companies, I don't care who it is, especially these big ones, at some point they have to really consider getting rid of accounts that haven't, have a significant amount of age on them without any kind of activity. It's just, it piles up, man. It's a lot of server space. It's a lot of maintenance to keep those accounts held. There's just a lot that goes into it. So from a business standpoint, people have to understand this. There's a lot that goes on with this right here, though. For the facts that we have, the fact that they will not delete your games, they won't close your account if you've got a subscription or purchases attached to it. Basically meaning that if you go purchase a game on your account, they won't delete it at all. That's basically what this says. I don't know how much I believe that, but and basically your account can be left untouched for at least 4 years before they even consider closing it. So, that's significant. That's a lot of factors there that they have to take into consideration. A lot of thresholds that have to be cleared for them to even consider closing your account. And then they'll send you an email and let you know that they're in the process of potentially closing your account and giving you time to access it and everything. There are things that happen to people. This is, real life in the world. And there are going to be accounts that need to be closed from a business standpoint. People have to understand that, So, but this is not an unacceptable amount of criteria here. This is actually very acceptable in my opinion. Now, back into the Ubisoft realm, Immortals Phoenix Rising sequel known as codename Oxygen gets canceled. First reported by VGC and corroborated via insider gaming sources, the Immortals Phoenix Rising sequel, internally known as codename Oxygen, has been canceled. VGC reports the game was canceled earlier this month due to perceived challenges around establishing the IP. Insider Gaming understands that this was conveyed in an internal email sent to employees 2 weeks ago. Footage provided to Insider Gaming under the condition that the footage isn't shared publicly showed that codename Oxygen was set in Polynesian. Footage showed that characters had the ability to shapeshift into different mythical creatures. It's understood that the different creatures would allow the character to do things including flying, swimming, and controlling the classical elements fire, air, earth, and water. It was said the game could have been around 18 months from its release, with development starting in 2021, just several months from the game's original release. Cancellation of the game is always a disappointment to those who worked on the project, but sources who also internally playtested the game said they were surprised and confused at the cancellation because it was progressing well. The original Immortals Phoenix Rising received generally favorable reviews, according to review aggregator Metacritic, and was generally received well by fans. Yeah, a lot of people thought it was pretty decent, and this is a surprise. Where I feel like this is even more of a surprise here is that Ubisoft, being a company that doesn't have a whole lot of new IPs to work with, it seems like all they want to do is lean so heavily on their old stuff. Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, Tom Clancy. They have something here that was decent. And instead of trying to work and get it into the fold of something newish to continue with, they just trash it, No. Let's don't make the second Immortals Phoenix Rising. Let's go ahead and make let's keep the 11 Assassin's Creed projects that are in development right now. You know what I mean? Like, does that not just seem ridiculous to anybody else? I mean, look, and to be fair, I'm not internal to the studio, so I don't know exactly what was going on here, but from everything I've read right now, it seems like a lot of the playtesters thought this game was doing pretty well. From a development standpoint. So, I don't know. That's a bit concerning, I would say. Oh, Ubi. Xbox will soon let players map keyboard keys to controller buttons. That's cool. Xbox is preparing the ability to map keyboard keys to controller buttons in the future. The new feature has been added to the latest Alpha and Alpha Skip Ahead bundles of the operating system, which are currently only available to members of the Xbox Insider program. This is generally done to test the feature and make sure it's working as well as possible before it's rolled out to all Xbox users in a future console system update. According to the patch notes for the latest Alpha build, the feature currently works on the Xbox Elite Wireless Controller Series 2 and the Xbox Adaptive Controller. Okay. For the Xbox Elite Wireless Controller Series 2 and the Xbox Adaptive Controller, the Xbox Accessories app now supports mapping keyboard keys to your controller, but the patch notes state. To get started, open the Xbox Accessories app, configure, create a new profile, or edit an existing one. Select a button to map, choose primary or shift, then move over to the new key tab. You can also find this feature in the Xbox Accessories app on your Windows PC by joining the Windows Gaming Preview from the Xbox Insider Hub. Xbox notes that players can only map a controller button to a single key, as well as any combination of modifier keys, Win, Shift, Control, Alt. For example, you could theoretically map the Share button to S on the keyboard, or Control Alt S, but not Control Alt S plus A, or not Control Alt S A. It also notes that input support is game dependent, so some games will offer full support, partial support, or no support. It sounds like this is eventually going to roll out across all controllers. That's the impression I get, but right now it is for the alpha version of this, just the Xbox Elite Wireless Series 2 and the adaptive controller, okay? I'll link it for you guys if you need it. That's cool, though. That's cool. A new Shrek video game is coming at last. That's it, folks. 2023's Game of the Year has been all but confirmed. Shrek is back in a brand new video game, dragging fans back to the swamp for the first time in years. Behold the glory that is DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing, a new kart racing game which, you guessed it, throws a number of iconic DreamWorks characters behind steering wheels and pits them all against each other. Original? Absolutely not. But the roster of characters is at least very amusing. As Polygon reports, as well as Shrek, we've got Fiona, Donkey, and Puss in Boots available as playable characters. Also included are Po, Tigress, and Master Shifu from the Kung Fu Panda series, Mr. Wolf from The Bad Guys, Hiccup and Astrid from How to Train Your Dragon, Megamind, genuinely one of the greatest DreamWorks characters of all time, agreed, and Boss Baby, because every kart racing game needs an infant with a driving license, apparently. Additionally, every character has got their own unique kart. Fiona's is hilariously an entire enormous onion, presumably with layers, while Donkey's is modeled to look like his wife Dragon and is decorated with stickers of his children. You know what? Good for him. Now, does DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing actually look good? No, not really. Looking at the screenshots, it really does look like basically any other mediocre kart racing game ever made. Character models are a bit wonky. Many of the tracks are colorful but look rather barren. And in general, it's hard to imagine how it'll stand up to the likes of Mario Kart 8, even with Shrek on its side. Looks like it's going to release for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, PC, and Switch later this year. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So, probably not the Shrek game people are looking for here, but, you know, it's something, I guess. It's not even just a dedicated Shrek game. It's a DreamWorks game. Yeah. Poland's CD Projekt to lay off 9% of studio staff. Okay. Poland's biggest video game producer, CD Projekt Red, said on Wednesday it plans to lay off 9% of personnel in its CDPR development studio, maker of Cyberpunk and The Witcher saga. Quote, there's no easy way to say this, but today we are considered overstaffed. We have talented people on board based on our current and expected project needs. We already know we don't have other opportunities for them in the next year. CEO Adam Kaczynski was cited as saying in a statement to media, around 100 people will leave the company in a reduction process that is planned to conclude in the first quarter of next year. JP Morgan called the move understandable, but added that the timing could be better. To use this decision appears reasonable in the context of strong wage inflation for developers and an expected drop in activity post the release of Phantom Liberty, said the note. Phantom Liberty is the first and only expansion of the company's Cyberpunk 2077, which is due to premiere in late September. Game maker, also known for the Witcher saga, expects the provision created for costs related to redundancies will amount to about 4.5 million zlotys, or 1.13 million US, and will impact its third quarter financial results. JP Morgan argued in its note that while the earnings from Cyberpunk's installment will mask the negative impact of severance costs in the third quarter, the investors could be concerned with the decision to make such a reshuffle 2 months ahead of the most important release from the company since 2020. Company stock, which plummeted more than 2.8% on the news, was down 0.7% at 10:13 GMT. Thoughts go out to all those people losing their jobs from CDPR. Everybody in the world that has to deal with this kind of situation, it's terrible and it's daunting, and it creates a lot of strife and anxiety and mental distress. And my hope is that these individuals find something quickly, something better, and it's a blessing in disguise. Star Atlas CEO, after massive layoffs, nothing about our vision has changed. After laying off 73% of its team, Star Atlas developer ATMTA says it remains focused on building out the Solana-based NFT space game. Gross. Yeah. Gross. No wonder they're dying. So they cut their team to 45 total people, down from a recent total of 167, and slashed from the 2022 peak of 235 employees. This is the NFT blockchain Web3 crypto-based economy game stuff. This was the trend. This was the trend from like 2021 through the end of last year. It really started dying off at the end of last year. Thank God. I mean, I was telling everybody the whole time. I was like, this is scum, dude. This is just get scammazed. It's not that there aren't parts of these technologies that could potentially be incorporated in video games that could be utilized to benefit both gamers and developers, but it's just not being done that way. And honestly, I don't feel like the backbone of what we need in the gaming industry is really there to do it at this point. So most of what's being done, almost all of it really, has just been a big scam from these developers, and you're seeing them die off. And that's what this is. That's what it is. I didn't know that that's what this was going to be about, was the NFT side. I don't even, I mean, I've never really taken a dive into these articles because I don't want to promote them. I think it's a terrible part of the gaming space, whether it be NFTs, blockchain, pay to earn, Web3, the crypto economy based games. All of it really ties in together. And none of it's being done in a way that's mutually beneficial for gamers, really, and or consumers. And for me, that's nothing that I even want to bring up in our news segment, because it's nothing that I want to give any kind of exposure to. I don't want to promote it. It's just a big scamaz, in my opinion. So we'll move on. PlayStation Plus August games announced. Sony has announced August's lineup of PlayStation Plus games, all of which are available to download from August 1st to September 4th. The highlight here is Sony's own Dreams, which launches into PlayStation Plus a month before developer Media Molecule ends support for the user-generated creation game. Media Molecule, by the way, has moved onto an exciting new project. To coincide with the launch of Dreams into PlayStation Plus, Media Molecule's latest game, Trin, will be available to play inside of it. Sony describes Trin as a nostalgic adventure that puts you in the driving seat of a remarkable toy train and tells a personal tale about growing up and the transformative power of play.
We got news this week that Media Molecule was...
Oh, this is 10 minutes long. Isometric action adventure Death's Door and PGA Tour 2K23 round out August's lineup. Death's Door was a 9 out of 10 for IGN. Expertly blends classic dungeon puzzle solving with fast-paced combat encounters to create a memorable adventure across a moody world brimming with secret paths and hidden rewards. PGA Tour 2K23 was only a 6 out of 10 review from IGN. Not much to be excited about in the game, with poorly presented golfing on second-tier courses, fiercely accurate to the real sport but lacks personality and variety. This is your last call for July's monthly games. You have until July 31st to claim Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Alan Wake Remastered, and Endling Extinction. Endling Extinction is forever to your game library. All right, guys? Here you go. Just in case you need it. And last but not least, we have a potential monitor deal here for people, okay? We're going to finish this up, and then we're going to move on and play day one of Remnant 2. Check out the new Remnant game and have some fun. We're going to play it all weekend. So starting today, all the way through the weekend, we're just going to play Remnant 2. Third-person loot and shoot co-op game. So we're going to have some fun with that. But this will be the last article for today's news segment, and then we'll move on and do some gaming, all right? Grab this 240 hertz gaming monitor for just $240 in time for CS2. Best affordable gaming monitor. Let's see what we got here. Acer Nitro. Looks like it's curved. Acer Nitro 27-inch 240 hertz gaming monitor deal now live over on Amazon. Stunning display will look amazing with best graphic settings. 4:3 ratio in game resolution. Let's see this. Are they showing any stats on this thing? Here we go. Here's our specs, all right? Okay, it's only a full high dev. It's 1920 by 1080. It's a 1080p monitor, okay? It's 27 inches. It's curved. It's 240 hertz refresh rate. Got one display port, two HDMI 2.0s. I think that, honestly, if you're going to spend this much on a monitor, you can probably spend about $50 more and you could get a 1440p monitor with the same exact or very, very similar stats here. But if this is up your alley, I'll link it. I think at this point, people really should be considering moving up in resolution. There's nothing wrong with HD. There's nothing wrong with 1080p. But monitors are getting to a point where, going from like 60 hertz to 120 or 144 hertz is really a negligible difference in price increase. Same thing with like going from 1080p to 1440p, which is going from fully high def to 2K, right? So my opinion is, like, if you find a monitor that is in this range, and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool, but it's like either maybe it's 1440p, but it's only 60 hertz, or it's 1080p, but it's like 240 hertz. Look around and see what you can find comparable that gives you both a higher refresh rate and a bit better of a resolution. You know what I mean? Because monitors are just at that point now where it's evolving to where the price to get up to a bit better of a refresh rate and a bit better resolution nowadays is almost negligible most of the time. You're not going to have to pay too much more. So take a look around, see what you can find, okay? That's the jam. That's the news, guys. We're going to go play some games. Let's do this. Don't forget your free games. Murder by Numbers, free till later this morning, and Elder Scrolls. Both of these games are free for about another 3 hours, I think, roughly. Yeah, just under 3 hours. And after that, it'll be Homeworld Remastered Collection and Severed Steel. So don't forget to grab your free games while they're still available. You got just about 3 hours, a little less than 3 hours left to grab these before they go away, and we have new games that are available on Epic Games Store, okay? You can find this on a website, Epic Games, or you can get it on their desktop app. They're free. Your account's free. It doesn't make sense to not grab these, okay? Just do it. Do it! Let's go. All right. You guys rock. Appreciate you. Great news segment. It's good to be back. Hope everybody had a good day yesterday. Hope your day has started well today. We're going to go play some games. We're going to go play Remnant 2, to be specific. So if anybody is checking out this new segment now live, or, if anybody might be checking out it later as a VOD, we have all of our previous video gaming news segments. We have all of our gaming playthroughs we've done, as well as clips and highlights from both of those types of content out on the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel and playlist. So check out that content. If you're enjoying it, come hang out with myself and the rest of the amazing people that are part of our community here whenever we go live at 6 a.m. CST every single day but Wednesdays. And we always start off with video gaming news before we dive into whatever gameplay we're going to be immersed in for the rest of the day, okay? Other than that, man, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we will catch everybody tomorrow for July 28th edition of Video Gaming News. All right?